Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Flying and Eating. Today, let's go somewhere and do something, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Hey guys, it's Adam here. On the previous episodes of Flying and Eating, I made my way out to Hong Kong along with my buddy Megalink. But today, we're actually doing something very similar yet different. We are going over to a place called Macau, but not before we torture ourselves.
Good morning, day unknown. It's our last day in Hong Kong, sort of. We're heading over to Macau today. Homie here wanted some breakfast. What are we doing?
McDonald's! Yay!
You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna do it with him. We're gonna have McDonald's. Fuck everything. This is what I'm going for, the sausage and egg twisty pasta meal, tonkatsu flavor. What have I done? Alright, I did it. This is what I got. This is like a coconut latte coffee. This is that sausage pasta egg corn thing. And then I get a hash brown, which, to be fair, has very nice artwork on it of Hong Kong. I guess they're celebrating 50 years of having been here. So Megalink got basically the same thing, except he got the chicken version, and then he also got the pancakes because it came with cream and peanut butter, and they forgot to give it to him because McDonald's. So we went up to inquire about where his special peanut butter and other things are, and they're like, oh yes, it's just butter. So it's nothing special at all.
Sadly.
McDonald's, the fail. This, by the way, it tastes like nothing. This is like blank.
I've been bamboozled.
Yeah, you don't say. Well, at least supporting Chicago. Appreciate it.
So, predictably, that wasn't particularly good. He didn't like it either. I had to warn Megalink about this. He's not allowed to do this here. Dog fouling. You never know with him. Don't dog foul. Yes, ice cream. Don't do that with it. So we have checked out of the hotel and we're at the pier. We're gonna go back over to Kowloon and hang out over there for just a little bit, and then we're going to grab a ferry over to Macau. We'll talk all about Macau and stuff when we're actually over there. But are you excited to go to Macau?
Yes, it's Asian Vegas after all.
Essentially, yes. Now we've never done that part of it, but yeah, this ferry that we're on in Hong Kong Island going over to Kowloon is like just a throw to the one we need to go to. So we're departing. We're on Hong Kong Island, which is worth noting because when you cross to the other side, which you can see over there, again, Kowloon, that's actually mainland Asia, technically. So, granted, you have to go like up and to the right to ever reach there. There's rivers up ahead, but technically, that is mainland Asia.
It's very much definitely mainland Asia.
I was waiting for something. I didn't know what he was going to say, but that was good.
Well, I mean, that land is connected to the mainland, so...
Yeah, that was the point we have strived for in about 35 seconds that could have been done in a sentence. So we got off the boat over there, and when you go over here, you'll turn around and you'll see this. The big Stitch thing probably won't still be there, but what we're doing is we're going to the ocean terminal, and it's this thing, and I guess this is where the boat to Macau is. We won't talk about the history of Macau just yet, we'll deal with that later, but what you do need to know is even though Macau and Hong Kong are both China, they are not China at the same time. They're both considered SARs, special autonomous regions, so you can effectively think of them like separate countries. They have their own currency, they have their own border control system, etc. So even though we are in Hong Kong and we have cleared Hong Kong customs, we must go through border control to go to Macau, despite the fact we're always technically in China. So be aware of that. You need your passport. So we made a mild mistake. That thing that I thought we were supposed to go to, that was a mall. I think we're supposed to go to this thing right behind it. Whatever, we'll figure it out. Do not make our mistake. We screwed up. That is the China Terminal Ferry. I guess they used to go to Macau out of that. Now they do not. They just go to mainland China. In other words, we actually have to go to the other port, which is over back where we were this morning. Okay, one Uber ride later and we are at the correct place. We screwed up. So now we're at the, there's a Macau specific dock, ironically very close to our hotel. Anyway, so we're excited to go over there now. But it was a fun little adventure. We got some exercise and stuff. Just don't listen to any of the instructions I gave you before. That's all wrong. Go to the Macau ferry terminal on the Hong Kong Island side. Okay, this is your area to buy tickets. So we went ahead. We actually bought a round trip. You pre-choose the time as well. They don't seem to be open-ended, but it seems to be somewhat financially incentive to buy a round trip. So we're all set. We now have to wait. They have like a luggage carry-on policy where you have to have a very small bag, and we were like, uh-oh, because our bags are huge. And the guy's like, no, don't worry about that. You're good. Just go. Now this would be immigration. All right, we just did the customs thing. So here it's pretty nicely organized. Because it's like an airport, there's a section specifically for Macau, because even though it's not another country, it almost kind of acts like it is. And then they have a section specifically for mainland China, which again, same type of deal. We're not doing that. We're going towards Macau. Are you excited for Macau?
Asian Vegas.
Yeah, you love your Vegas. I don't know if anybody out there remembers, but the first time we did like a long hangout session was in Vegas. Where are you going? We're going down there. That's what the giant green arrows in English say. So we're waiting to board, and behind us is the only food source beyond customs. And he got some M&Ms.
They were the same as back in the States.
They were M&Ms. I decided to get some peanuts. Now what's funny about these is they are Korean American peanuts. That is the last thing we're eating in Hong Kong.
Very appropriate.
Yeah, I guess. We have officially boarded. It is a very nice ferry. I like it. We are officially in Macau, although we still have to go through customs and stuff, but yeah, this is the first thing you see. You'll be immediately greeted by 3 different languages. It's very weird to see Portuguese out here, but it makes perfect sense. So fun fact, you can actually drive up from Hong Kong to here, but it's extremely rare because of how few people are licensed for it. All right, we are officially in Macau. Homie's, doing all right over here. It's really surreal seeing Portuguese on everything. We'll talk about that later, I promise. But yeah, how does it feel to sort of be in another country, but not really?
Felt the same as Hong Kong,
But with Portuguese?
I guess.
It's basically its history. Okay, so we're going to look around. We're probably just going to Uber over because it's raining out. We'll go to our hotel, chill out, and then we'll see what happens. So this is a 500... Hatakas? I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. We had to get some cash for cabs. Turns out Uber doesn't exist here. Google lied to us. And while we're at it, this is what the 100 looks like, because why not? This is neat. Look at this car. Car is inspired. So I thought I'd give you guys like a basic history of what Macau even is. Why does this exist? What's the deal? It's actually a very similar situation to Hong Kong. Hong Kong, of course, former British colony. Macau, much smaller, is a former Portuguese colony from the Portuguese Empire days. Now, basically what happens is in the 1500s, the Portuguese Navy just shows up in China and goes like, oh, dude, that would be cool if we had some land there, because Empire. They showed up and the Chinese were like, no, you can't be here. And the Portuguese are like, the hell we can't. And they had a little skirmish. Eventually, the Portuguese left. And because the Chinese like, no, you can't be in our country, go away. And so the Portuguese decided to be like, okay, that's cool. We're just going to constantly use our navy to basically raid, pirate, and destroy Chinese vessels in the area and steal all their stuff. And eventually the Chinese government of the time was like, okay, Portugal, if you stop pirating all our ships, we'll let you keep that little piece of land you like so much. And Portugal's like, okay, bro. And that was the deal they made. And it basically sat like that for effectively 200 years as just a port in a storm for the Portuguese. That's all it really was. Then comes the British. When they showed up and established Hong Kong, Portugal right nearby was like, bruh. And they thought, hey, we could expand too. And so they were like, okay, we're going to make Macau more of a significant deal. As Hong Kong expanded, Macau did as well, only slightly. Now, fast forward all the way to 1937. The Japanese invade mainland China and effectively start all sorts of attacks across the Pacific. World War II comes up, and the Japanese decide, okay, we're at war with every European country. We're kicking the British out. They invaded Hong Kong. They hit all these other places, but they basically said, I don't know if we really want to touch the Portuguese. You got to remember, Portugal was neutral in World War II. They had nothing to do with it. The Germans never went after them. The Allies never went after them. They had nothing to do with it at all. And so from the Japanese perspective, if they invaded Macau, then they risked Portugal and its entire navy being a sudden enemy of Japan when they already had their hands full with a whole bunch of other countries. So they basically just left Macau alone during World War II. As a result, a ton of people basically bailed from all their countries in Asia and came here for literal safe harbor. And through that, they came up with the idea of gaming and gambling and casinos and all that, but they rented it out to one very specific company, which was relatively ineffective. The war ends, and the empires start to fade away. The
the British retake Hong Kong, but China turns to full communism, right? And then the Chinese become a much stronger country. Now, fast forward all the way to the 1980s, and the British recognized that their deal with Hong Kong was going to expire in 1997, and there was nothing they could really do to keep it. However, the Portuguese situation was different. Unlike the Hong Kong British situation, which was considered a 99-year lease and was considered very temporary, Portugal's territorial claims to this area were considered in perpetuity. In other words, they never actually had to give it back. But the Chinese at this point were like, nah, bruh, like, we're almost a superpower, and you are just a small country, like, half a world away. We want it back. But the Portuguese had a legitimate case. They were basically like, we don't actually have to do that. So the deal that the British cut over Hong Kong was basically they would give Hong Kong back in 1997, and in exchange, the Chinese government would promise to basically leave it alone and consider it an SAR, a special autonomous region that was allowed to be governing itself, etc., for 50 years. So in 2047, that expires. But that left little Macau there as part of Portugal, and nobody knew what to do with it. So the Chinese basically said, no, we want it back. We're just going to invade if you don't do it. Portugal went to the UN and was like, hey, come on, this is considered sovereign Portuguese soil. China doesn't have a right to do this. And the UN was like, they kind of do. You're the last remnant of empire in Asia. I think you should go. And so as a result, they basically said, okay, then the only thing we can do is play the same card. They went to the Chinese and said, we'll give you back Macau. You have to keep it an SAR, just like Hong Kong, for 50 years. As a result, they returned it over in 1999. And in 2049, this is going to be the same situation where it gets full Chinese control again. So that 2 years from 2047 to 2049, we'll get some sense of what happens to Hong Kong what happens to Macau when Hong Kong is fully turned over. But yeah, they had this like kind of mild casino gambling policy. Only one company was in control of it all the way until 2002. In 2002, after they were sort of returned to China, they basically said, like, what can we do to make ourselves relevant to the world? Basically, the argument was when Hong Kong eventually fails or is taken over or whatever happens, the world will care. Most people have never heard of Macau. How do we make them care? They took their gambling law and exploded it. Rather than having one company with a monopolistic control over it, they said, okay, anybody can make a casino. And now you have the Las Vegas of Asia. This place is the most densely populated spot on this planet, despite the fact that it only has a population of 600,000 people, because it is that small. But it has 31 million visitors per year, almost all of which are from other Asian countries, because it's illegal to gamble in mainland China. It's basically illegal in Hong Kong. It's illegal in Vietnam and most of Southeast Asia. It's illegal in Japan, basically. It's mostly illegal in South Korea. It's certainly illegal in North Korea. Basically, everybody comes here from Asia if they want to gamble. It's the Las Vegas of the Pacific. And fun fact, Americans, less than 200,000 a year ever visit here. So my boy Megalink and I are unique superstars. Hope you guys enjoy this. So this is the view from the hotel room. It's a gray day, of course. But check it out. Now, this is weirding me out because I've been to Portugal many times. This actually really does look like Portugal. To all the Portuguese out there, come out to your former colony, bro. This is cool. By the way, look at our room. We have a half-dead kid over there. we got this other stuff. Usually there's a dead white kid in your hotel room. It's all right. All right, I'm going to go out on the town. Look at the power outlets. I have never been in any country ever that just took that's the universal power outlet. That's what you get on those adapters. They just put that right in the wall. That is genius because they have power outlets from everybody. You get the UK style, mainland European style, American style. Wow, just everybody. Fair game. Good for them. Look, everybody, the Sega Pluto has now made it to Macau as well. I don't know if any of you guys remember my buddy Portugal man, Tiago from Portugal. He told me to look out and said this was him.
Ah, yes, fantastic statues back when we were worshipped by the natives.
You used to be an empire, man. What happened to you, dude?
Anyway, enjoy your, like, humidity or something, rain, poor weather.
So I've only been walking around here for a few minutes, and man, is it accurate to say this is the child of Portugal. Like, it literally, dude, like, you took Portugal and gave it a baby with China. Like, that's Macau. Much like Hong Kong truly is the offspring of China and the UK. It's a weird vibe, and especially for an American, because I'm not Portuguese, but I've been to Portugal a bunch of times, and they also have 7-Eleven here. I think I might pop in and see if I can find any oddities. Came out of there, nothing really that interesting. I found a Snickers I had never had, so I was like, I'll grab that, and a drink, but the drink wasn't fascinating. What was is they didn't take a credit card. Thankfully I got some cash at the pier, but like, I don't like that. Those cobblestone roads are so Portugal. Wow. Behold the Grand Lisboa, or Grand Lisbon, translated more to English. This is like the most famous casino in Macau, and I guess therefore the most famous casino in Asia. Out there in the center, I think, is Macau Tower. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, this is kind of the, I guess my understanding, kind of their version of the Las Vegas Strip. Granted, I'm here in the daytime. I'm sure at night it looks spectacular. To be fair, it's also been kind of, the weather's gray, but under normal circumstances, it probably would be a lot cooler. I just realized it's next to Casino Lisboa, which is currently under renovation, which is, hey, all right. Yeah, the Sega Pluto's at the biggest casino possibly in the world, at least Asia. I have a bad habit of doing everything on foot because I'm fat, so I decide that's my only version of exercise. However, there is a robust bus network and even a subway system. I will not be participating in it because I need the exercise, but it is a thing. You will notice chains you're familiar with. Wynn Hotel, Steve Wynn's Hotel, the MGM Grand, all that stuff. All those casinos are here. But if I was here, I mean, come on, the Grand Lisboa. So you're supposed to do. So we got this look at the bay here. Macau consists of like a couple of islands that they kind of, I think most of them are man-made, ironically. Back there, you can see like this old church. That's probably original Portuguese stuff. I don't know that for sure. There's only a few of those left. Weirdly enough, most of what you associate with Macau came into existence after 2002 inside the Grand Lisboa. And this is just the entryway. There's like a hotel and obviously casinos and stuff. Don't know where any of that is, but I wanted to be able to say I'd been inside. So Portugal has a thing with birds and like a rooster. I can't help but wonder if this is the Macau descendant of that. I don't know. So I actually went into the casino. Two things. I couldn't show you any footage because they were very strict about that. Like I saw this, just a tourist lady, Chinese citizen and everything. And she just took a photo and like an army of guys like descended on her like, you can't do that. I am not doing that. Also, I went to the ATM hoping to pick up a little more Macau currency just because it seems like that might be a problem. And they only would give you cash in Hong Kong dollars, which, head scratcher. Observation. So even though you see Portuguese on a lot of stuff, you will also notice English, and I think that's done out of a mere matter of pragmatism. Hong Kong, of course, being next door. And simple truth is, for most countries in Asia, English is the second language. So, you know, someone from South Korea comes here, how do you think they're trying to communicate? They're not speaking Cantonese, they're speaking English. Well, this one got my attention for being so many hats on a hat, I don't even know how to process it. What? For the record, so Macau's currency, similar to the Hong Kong dollar, it's called the pataka, I believe it's, I'd be pronouncing it wrong, but it's basically like 8 pataka to $1, so like a $500 pataka, which I showed you before, is like $62 currently. So I'm back in the hotel room now, and I just wanted to point this out. So you see all the buildings, right? And you see the mountains. There's actually like a river in between that, and therefore those mountains are mainland China, where I could not actually go without a visa, but over here I can go because of the whole special autonomous region thing. But I cannot stress this enough. I only walked for 15 minutes, and that was like half of Macau. Like, it is tiny, at least this particular island. Cash update. So this is a $10 pataka, or not $10, 10 patakas. This is I guess a 1, actually in the form of a coin. Now, interestingly, this is a Hong Kong $1. Now, the only reason I bring that up is this was given to me as change when I bought something at 7-Eleven. And from what I'm gathering, it seems like when you use cash, it's Hong Kong or patakas, and they're totally like interchangeable. All right, we are at dinner. We're at a place called Fado, which is built into our hotel for convenience reasons because they take credit cards. I think I'm gonna go with this steak thing. Then again, don't let the price shock you. Divide that by like 8. And for dessert, you gotta do it. Pastel de nata. I don't know if you guys remember, I did a video many years ago where I took you to the actual original restaurant in Lisbon that created pastel de nata. But it's gonna happen. Well, we have the complimentary bread, which comes with a whole bunch of side stuff. I think it's like carrots and various olive oils, and I don't know what those things are. That's like pate. That's like duck liver shit. So we brought a couple of little bits, a little sandwich bit. I think it's good. So normally I wouldn't bother pointing out the water, but the bottled water is actually straight up a Portuguese brand. Like, I've seen this in Portugal. This is straight up. that's commitment. Okay, we have devoured the bread, and here is my porcha steak. I have no idea what it's actually called. There was a special Portuguese word, I don't know it, but it's got potatoes, it's got green stuff, and a steak. And you got...
lamb leg with potato, gravy, peas, and carrots.
I like that you have a moat.
Yes.
A moat to protect your potatoes from your steak.
Yeah, very much so.
It's very fascinating. I'll enjoy yourself.
Fancy.
So I got myself a dessert. We got a pastel de nata, aka the egg tart thing. A little strawberry there. I forget, this is like a fruit that I've had in Portugal. It's kind of like a sweet tomato almost, if I remember correctly. Not something we really have in North America. And then it comes with coffee ice cream. Are you jealous?
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you could totally order one.
Yeah, but I don't feel like it.
Yeah, I could tell. Okay, so we came out of our hotel restaurant. It's not bad. It was a nice fancy steak, fancy meal, fancy schmancy, but not actually like even close to the best Portuguese food I've ever had, which no doubt would go to Portugal. I'm not surprised by this. It's a former colony. It is not the original. You're just going there for tourist reasons. Duh. Did you like your food?
I did. Even though it was shown that I didn't eat it all, but I was
He
full.
was full. To be fair, he thought it would be a good idea to eat a whole bag of chips and cake right before going to dinner.
That is the truth.
Look, dude, there's a McDonald's in Macau. You want that?
Oh, very much so. Very much so now.
You gotta hope that McDonald's here in Macau would have a burger called the McCow. Just seems so obvious.
You want to take a look?
No. Okay, we might look at some point. Homie wanted to see some casinos. Well, there they are.
Vegas.
It is times 1,000 Asian Vegas. Yeah. Yeah. What?
Bread and butter. Asia, Vegas, you know, that's my kind of bread and butter.
Casino Lisboa is all lit up. Very nice. The Grand Lisboa is lit up too. Are you excited about this?
Pretty and shiny.
It's got like... We are now walking down the Macau version of the Strip, I guess. I guess this would be the most accurate comparison because all the major casinos are along this one road. Right? You're the sort of from Vegas person.
But I know nothing about Macau. I just see pretty shiny lights with casinos, and it's like, oh yeah, Asia, Vegas, clear.
Alright, we'll just take that as a confirmation.
That is my hotel whenever I come to the former Portuguese colony of Macau. I never come here, to be fair. But that is mine. And you will use it. Pay me money. I think I own that, I'm not sure.
I don't know how much, if any of this is original, but you do get this kind of like traditional Portuguese architecture there in conjunction with like modern day stuff. We also found our first Starbucks and unfortunately our first Pizza Hut. That's no good. I think he wants to buy gold stuff. Are you excited about gold stuff? No? Oh, okay, video games. We have some totally official brands right there. So this is a nice little scenic European area. I was told this is I've been to Europe many times, but I don't have the novelty of like, ooh, I'm never gonna go to Europe, I'm Asian, like I don't have that for me. So to them, this is more exciting. To me, it's just kind of funny, because it does actually look accurate to Porto. Not so much Lisbon, at least in my experience, but Porto, yeah, for sure. Macau's fighting force must not be underestimated. Behold, Mega Space Molly and her giant pastel de nata. That is just so bizarre. That's so quintessentially, if they took Chinese culture and blended it with Portugal, I think that is exactly what you would get.
That is literally what
Yeah, that is literally, that's the joke. So as I was trying to get footage of that thing, I will point out, much like Hong Kong, people here are very friendly. Like, people just keep going and be like, yeah, do you need any help with this or whatever? Even when we were at this game store a little bit ago, the guy didn't speak English, but he was very willing to like help us find anything we needed and stuff. People have been friendly, man. What do you think?
Very much so. Very much so friendly.
Yeah. First impressions of Macau? It's good. I mean, the travel part of it, getting here kind of sucked, but that was for different reasons. But now that we're actually like settled, I think we're enjoying ourselves. This is cool. Like if you were to go to Portugal and visit there, this is something you would give to somebody in Portugal and be like, "Yes, I've been to Macau," because it's got the traditional bird on it and everything. That's cool. Hey, we got the Portuguese rooster up there. Makes sense. This is the Department of Police from Macau. Cool. Pastel de Nata plushies. That is awesome. So homie's inside getting some cash because he found some stuff he wanted, but cash is king in Macau apparently. Social observation. Portugal is notorious for late starts and late nights. So like things will be open usually like midnight and whatever. Seems to be the case here, and I don't know if that's like I don't remember that being a thing in Hong Kong. Maybe it was, but I've never done mainland China, so I don't know. But like here, everything's open late. Could be the Vegas thing, could be the Portuguese thing, could be a coincidence. So we're inside a McDonald's now because homie needed water. We just thought it'd be fun to check out the McDonald's. It seems to be identical to the Hong Kong one as far as random items, like there's your Grimace Shake and all the other stuff that they've been doing lately. There are weird ones that like are new to me, but I actually had that in Hong Kong. It was actually pretty good. Don't do the breakfast though. Breakfast not so good. So on the credit card front, behind me you see a Circle K. You'll even see things like a Subway, or before there was a McDonald's. Here's a shocker. None of them take credit cards. In fact, the only place that has been our hotel and the restaurant inside it. So thankfully we have ATM cards. I really hate cash for reasons, multiple reasons, justified reasons, but all the same, I'm glad I have that card.
And that'll do it for part 4. Thank you so much for watching. Please stay tuned to the 5th and final part of this series in which we continue to explore around Macau. We're going to look at some Portuguese historic sites, and we're going to absolutely crush one of those like fancy-bish casino buffets. It's going to be awesome. But until then, if you guys can do me a favor, please like this video, comment down below, subscribe if you've never done that before, as well as check out all the social media stuff in the description. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Patreon, Spreadshirt, etc. I appreciate the support on those platforms. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all later.